Hey everybody, Jay Super Awesome here. I'd like to welcome you to episode number 11 of my horror movie spotlight. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at 10 Stephen King film adaptations. This should be fun, so let's get started. Okay, up first is It. Your every fear, all into one deadly enemy. It can be anything, a fanged monster that won't stay on the movie screen, something ominous lurking in the basement. No matter what your biggest fear is, no one knows it better than Stephen King. A malevolent force in a small New England town takes the shape of a clown, but he's not clowning around. Instead, he terrifies youngsters and brings them to their untimely doom until some wily kids fight back. The evil resurfaces 30 years later, meaner, deadlier, angrier, and friends who vividly remember useful terrors reunite to battle it. Okay, up next is Carrie. At the center of the terror is Kerry, a tortured high school misfit with no confidence, no friends, and no idea about the extent of her secret powers of telekinesis. But with her psychotic mother and sadistic classmates finally going too far, the once shy teen becomes an unrestrained, vengeful-seeking powerhouse who, with the help of her special gift, causes all hell to break loose in a famed cinematic frenzy of blood, fire, and brimstone. Okay, next up is The Dark Half. Horror writer Thad Beaumont hopes to distance himself from his murder novels and from George Stark, the name he has used to anonymously author them. To achieve this, he cooks up a murder of his own, a public stunt that should lay Stark to rest forever. But when the people around him are found gruesomely slain and his fingerprints dot the crime scenes, Beaumont is dumbfounded until he learns that Stark has taken on a life of his own and begun a gruesome quest for vengeance. Next up is Needful Things. Sheriff Alan Pagborn has a devil of a problem. Suddenly, all the residents of his sleepy little town are dying to kill each other. But at least business is still booming, especially at a new antique store. The shop's mysterious owner has something for everyone, and his prices are always reasonable. Just one small favor. Oh, and of course, eternal damnation. Next up is Misery. Novelist Peter Sheldon doesn't remember the blinding blizzard that sent his car spinning off the road, nor does he remember being nursed back from unconsciousness. All he remembers is waking up in the home of Anna Wilkins, a maniacal fan who is bent on keeping her favorite writer as her own personal prisoner for the rest of his rockadoodle life. Okay, up next is The Langoliers. Something bizarre has happened aboard flight number 29, a nightmare so chilling, so frightening, so unrelenting it could only come from the mind of Stephen King. A jet leaves on a red-eye flight from Los Angeles to Boston, but early in the flight, 10 passengers awaken to a startling realization. All the other passengers have vanished, and the ground below is only ground. But once they manage to land the plane, the situation doesn't improve. No one is there, the air is still, the clocks have stopped, and a dread, evil presence bent on their destruction is heading straight for them. Okay, next up is The Golden Years. When aging janitor Harlan Williams is accidentally exposed to exotic chemicals in a lab explosion, he undergoes an extraordinary change. It's a process the government will do anything to learn more about, no matter who has to die in the process. Soon, Harlan, his wife Gina, and the lab's beautiful secretary chief are on a cross-country race to evade a murderously effective federal agent. But even as he stays one step ahead of the ruthless pursuers, Harlan continues his transformation into something the world of science has never seen or imagined. Next up is Thinner. A 109-year-old gypsy, hell-bent on revenge, exacts a curse so shockingly it compels its victim to gorge himself in an effort to avoid shrinking away to nothingness. With time running out and a torture so bizarre and powerful, even death seems a more likely option. Up next is Cujo. In rural Maine, Vic and Donna struggle to repair their crumbling marriage, while their son, Tad, befriends a hulking, lovable, 200-pound St. Bernard named Cujo. With Vic away on business, Donna and Tad take their decrepit car to be fixed at a remote farm of their mechanic. As their aging Pinto sputters to a stop and dies, Cujo appears. But the once docile dog has undergone a hideous transformation and becomes a slavering, demonic, implacable killer possessed by almost supernatural strength and unholy cunning. Okay, last up is The Stand. Enter a near future of a horrifically plagued, ravaged Earth where a fraction of its population survives, compelling them to choose sides between the overwhelming forces of good and evil in this critically acclaimed film version of Stephen King's phenomenal #1 best-selling novel, The Stand. Millions perish and a small, isolated, frightened band unite. The answers to their perpetual questions to justify this end of civilization are barred in their dreams. Revelations that urge some to embrace a path of virtue and others to gravitate towards a sinister course of darkness. As the opposing forces separate into two camps, one led by the saintly Mother Abigail and the other by a demonic Randall Flagg. The noble elements try to shield themselves from their corrupt enemy, whose ruthless potency is increased by their dominating of an excavated nuclear warhead. Their extreme clash of wills make it inevitable that these remnants of humanity will soon emerge in a final confrontation, The Stand, an immense and atrocious battle which could result in annihilating the power of good and hurtle the fate of the planet into the reigns of evil. Okay, so there you have it, a look at 10 Stephen King film adaptations. Please be sure to join me again next time as we'll be taking a look at list 4 of 88 Film Slasher Classics collections, numbers 31 through 40. Please like, subscribe, and comment below and let me know what you think about this video. And I would like to thank you guys for watching.